We're back from break, but Katie needed a little more time, so we have a substitute in for you. Take it away, Rose.
This came from this iPad.
Watch out, Katie. We may have a replacement in mind.
Welcome back. Happy to have you with us this afternoon. It's a lovely day here in Southwest Louisiana. Always grateful to have you spending this time with us. There's some incredible ministries all across the country. We're kind of in a golden age of apostolates who are doing the good work of the church. Well, Kathy Doherty earned her undergraduate degree from the State University of New York at Binghamton, her doctorate in government and politics from the University of Maryland, and now she's the brains behind Porto Charities. Now, Porto Charities is an incredible organization that does amazing work, and she's here to tell us all about it and the huge success of their recent gala. Catherine, welcome to the Katie McGrady Show.
Katie, I really appreciate you taking the time to learn more about us and share our work with your audience. I thought your listening to the radio show before I came on, just a good analogy in your dining room conversation about prioritizing people and community and including people around the table. And that's really what we're doing.
Absolutely. I love the work of Porto Charities. Introduce us to your organization. Who are you guys? What are you doing in tangible ways that really is changing lives?
Thank you. Yeah, so Porto Charities is a nonprofit. We are based in Northern Virginia, and we work closely partnering with the Diocese of Arlington. We've been around for about 15 years now. Our goal is really to build a culture of life and a sense of true belonging and inclusion within our diocese for youth with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So we really go about it in three key ways. One is we focus on education. We provide grants to our Catholic schools in our diocese to help support them as they try to build programs and include more students who are eligible for special services and special education in our schools. We just are really excited that we launched 2 new initiatives just this week to help train teachers to work with students with disabilities. So offering scholarships for Catholic school teachers to get graduate degrees in special education, and also just some introductory graduate school work for teachers who might be interested in pursuing more special education, but just sort of dipping their toe in to learn more. The second area we work in is regarding employment, really focused on young people who are transitioning out of our schools into the workplace, students with disabilities, students with intellectual disabilities, helping them make that transition and finding meaningful work and employment after they finish school. And then third, really we focus a lot on building community. I'm a mom of 6 kids. My youngest has an intellectual disability, and the reality is that it can be a very lonely, isolating experience. Many of us in this situation had other kids in Catholic schools. My 5 older kids were all in Catholic schools together, and we didn't really want or expect our children with disabilities to be left out of that community. I wanted my daughter Margaret to have access to a Catholic education just like her brothers and sisters. I wanted her to receive the sacraments in our parish. So our goal is really to help students and young people with intellectual disabilities be seen and known and valued in our church, in our parishes, in our communities.
I think that's such a noble mission and so necessary. When I was a kid, I remember it was called the Run for Others, and it was this big fundraiser that we'd have every year at our school to fund our special education program. And then I guess I was like a sophomore in high school, and then all of a sudden the special education program now existed at a different Catholic school. And it kind of, in our diocese, it bounces. There's only a handful of elementary and middle schools, and so every few years the SPED program is somewhere else. And I remember asking my mom as a kid, why can't every school have one of these programs? And it was a very enlightening conversation about money and the reality of needing qualified individuals and needing the support systems. And so Porto Charities is working to provide those support systems. I have a practical question. If somebody's listening to this and thinks, oh my gosh, I want this in our diocese, we need this where I am, I'm not in Northern Virginia, where can they learn out more? Where can they reach out to you to figure out how to duplicate this, to replicate this, to grow this?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we're blessed in the Arlington Diocese of having Bishop Michael Burbidge as our shepherd and our leader, and he's absolutely clear this is a priority, that inclusion is not optional. Now, that doesn't mean that all of our schools have programs yet. We're building on that, and like you said, there are many challenges, all very worthwhile to tackle, from training teachers to making our schools and parishes more hospitable places for all of God's children. But I think it's absolutely worth going to your diocese, going to your Catholic school superintendent, and start a conversation about it. A few years ago, I learned about Porto Charities as a mom, looking for education options for my daughter with disabilities. And I was in a listening session with our diocese, and they were very encouraging. And so I went to my local parish, prepared to make the pro-life case, to say I had a serious diagnosis with my daughter in utero. I was strongly urged to abort, and here she is now, and I want her to be part of our. Want her to be part of our school, and I want her to be part of getting the sacraments. And I'm very blessed that I'm, again, in a parish and in a diocese that I didn't really have to make the hard sell. It was understood that this is a absolutely critical to our pro-life gospel, our mission. But it's worth having conversations with your pastors. It's worth having a conversation with the principals in your local Catholic schools. It's worth approaching the diocese. I mean, I think
it absolutely is. It's so necessary, and Porto Charities is leading the way. Catherine, thank you so much for sharing with us. I really appreciate you sharing about this organization and giving us an insight into the great work. Check them out at portocharities.org, and they've got some great photos from their big gala just a few weeks ago. Hey, we'll be back tomorrow with a whole lot more. We're always so grateful to have you spending this time with us. We'll see you soon here on the Katie McGrady Show on the Catholic Channel, Sirius XM 129.
You're listening to the Catholic Channel, Sirius XM 129.